So welcome everyone to our celebration of GIS Day. Um, I love maps. I love the powerful way that maps can help us to tell stories. And I'm hoping this is the first of many sessions where I can share little bits of information in a digestible format to help our teachers and our students use maps to tell the stories that they want to share with their communities. This first step in learning about mapping, we are going to look at a simple story map in the context of a Youth Awards program submission. Back in the day, we used to put together 3-ring binders with our Youth Awards submissions, and then we adopted a new technology and started using slideshows to submit our evidence of the great work that we were doing in our communities. And now we're going to pilot the use of story maps in telling those stories. So what I did is to create a template for the type of information that we're going to load into our story map. Now, you don't have to have an existing account already to use this tool if you wanted to use it today. You could get started and sign in with a Google account. So I'll just show you these steps along the way. And it takes you to this dashboard, and I'm simply going to hit create and story. You can follow along and do it with me, or if you just want to sit back and relax, you will have access to this recording later, so you can come back to it. So this is the template that Esri has created for story maps, and we're just going to populate this with some information that my friend Miss Nina Corley from Galveston, Texas, put together for us with her students based on their community energy education projects that they did last year and that they already submitted to Youth Awards in the form of a slideshow. So her students took a template that looks like this, and I'll go ahead and share that in the chat with you if I can find my way back to the chat. That way you can grab a copy of that document. Nina, you'll notice this one looks a little bit nicer than the earlier iteration that your students and you populated for me. And if my little control bar will get out of my way, I will click on the document that you put together. So I made this template and shared it with Nina and her students, and they populated it with information about their energy activities that they did for their Youth Awards project last year. So for each activity, they gave me the title, the goals, the activities, the energy content and resources, community education involvement, evaluation methods. And I also like to sometimes put in oh yeah, here it is, student leadership. So that's the content. We have a location associated with each activity, and then we have some sort of visual evidence, whether they be photos or videos. And so what we're going to do is quickly take this information, plop it into the story map template, and you'll be able to quickly see how this comes together. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the story here. And Nina, what was your overall project title last year?
Oh, you could just put OC Green Team. I'm trying to remember exactly what, but if you put OC and then Green Team, that'll be fine.
Okay. And we could add a cover image here if we wanted to. You can always come back to this later and make edits. So, oh, did you say OC Green Team?
Yeah.
All right. And
maybe you could just put maybe putting the green back in Galveston, I think.
oh, I love it. Okay. All right. And we're not going to put me on this. We're going to put You could put your student leaders' names here, or I'll just put your name here for now. All right, and we're going to start telling our story. So the first activity, and we could reorder these activities anytime as we're editing this project. The first activity was growing vegetables in the school garden. So this was actually at the school. So I'm going to go back here and express map tour. Map tour is the particular template that we're going to use, map tour. So I pressed on the blue button and we're going to start from scratch. There's a couple of different layouts that you could choose here. I'm going to go with this media focused one, and what that will do is put a location, a map in the top left-hand corner for context. The text that we enter will go below, and the image will be in the right-hand panel. You could have a map focused one that puts a greater emphasis on the map if that's the more important information that you're trying to relay. You could do a list view, which is a little bit more like some of the classic original story maps that Esri did, and then there's a grid view. But we're going to stick with this media focused one over here. Again, once you get the basics down, you can explore, your kids will explore, and you can go in a lot of different directions. So first I'm going to add the first location. So I click on add location. And up here, I'm going to put O'Connell. Hopefully I'm spelling it right. Galveston. There it is. It popped up. O'Connell College Preparatory School, Galveston, Texas. So it's going to take me there. Going to take a moment here. My computer's yelling at me because I have so many tabs open. And then I'm going to click Add to Map. And I'm going to use the Map Tour settings. And then I'm going to click Save. Okay. Now, the first one, we're looking for a title. So I'm going to go back to here and get the title that the kids wrote. Pop it in there. There we go. There's our title. And then I'm going to get our text. And I'm just going to pop all of this stuff right in there. We can always go back and clean it up and reorganize it later once we've got the content in there. Okay, so I've got it separated out. Let me get this bar out of the way here. And I can scroll down. So what we could do is come through and I could bold the different things. Now you notice I broke out these sections based on the rubric that's used for youth awards. Other folks choose to present this stuff in a different way, and that's fine. You know, your kids will get creative. You can get creative and do this any which way you want. I like to make it nice and easy for the folks scoring the rubrics. And that has been a successful approach in the past. Okay, so this is our first entry. And you can see here, it's there's a place I can add an image or a video. Now, in the template that Nina's students filled out for us, they chose 3 images that they wanted included there. But in this template, I can only add 1. So what I did was I took those 3 images, I put them all onto one slide together and arranged them the way I wanted them, and then took a screenshot of that. And I saved that locally. So I'm going to click add. I'm going to browse to that file that I saved on my computer. And I believe it's in here. And that is the garden images, and open. And there we go. And I add it. Okay, so poof, we've got our first section complete. We can always go back and make modifications as we see fit. All right, so now we're going to add a second section. So I brought that little toolbar, this little organizer down here up so I could see what's what. I'm going to add a new section that when you hover over it, it says new slide. So this is analogous to what we've done before for Youth Awards in submitting slides and including like one activity on a slide. All right, so second section, we're going to go back to the template that the students populated with information about their activities. I'm going to grab the title for that. And this one, you notice, is at a different location. One thing I'll mention that many of you, for most of what you're doing is happening at your school, right? So you might be thinking, why am I using this mapping tool when most of the activities that we're going to be writing about happened at our school? Well, yes, you may have studied wind or solar or geothermal at your school, but there are connections in the communities around you or in your community that you could make using the mapping tool. So let's say we studied offshore wind. I'm back here in little old Rhode Island. When we're studying offshore wind, we can be talking about things near us like the Block Island wind farm. So I could put a pin in that location to connect it to that part of our story, of our activity. All right, so let's get our title in there, helping to distribute food to those in need at St. Patrick's. All right. And you might decide to shorten that title later if you wanted to, just for aesthetics, but we'll just pop these things in there. Again. Okay, so we didn't add our location for this. So St. Patrick's, Galveston, Texas. I'm going to copy that. Add location. See how it does. Does that look right?
That's a different, it's
Okay.
a different search. We have several in Galveston.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is in a separate window, I'm going to search for the address.
Okay.
And see if I can find their address. 2601 Avenue North. Does that sound right?
Yeah. 26.
Nope. 1010 35th Street.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. So I'll come back here. Galveston. Okay, you see it's predictive text. Helps us out here. All right, does that look right?
I'm trying to see. Yeah.
Broadway, okay. All right, so we will add to map. I'm going to stick with those current settings and save. And now you see that the map up here has kind of zoomed in to our current location. We added some text and now we're going to add images. Let me go back here and see. Again, the kids identified several images that they wanted to include for evidence here. So I did the same thing as I put those into a slide and took a screenshot of that. Another approach, when you have big events where you have tons of assets that you want to share related to your event, lots of photos, one thing you can do is just make a quick video of those photos with, maybe 2-3 seconds between each image. You can go through a lot of photos very quickly, and you can embed those videos in here. So where it says add image or video, you can use a link. So if you have a video that you've saved up to YouTube or to a Google Drive, you can use that link to share your video here. This is great for tours. If you went on a tour of a recycling plant or a tour of a wind or solar facility or wherever you took your kids on a field trip. That's a great way to share lots of great stuff. So this is the food bank, right? Add. There we go. Great stuff. Volunteerism, giving back to the community. All right, we're going to add another section here. Our next section is sharing the science behind recycling at the farmers market. So we're going to give it a title. And the location. Oh, you got a street address for. Oh, you had a street address for us before, and I just overlooked it. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. All right. Yeah, your kids were all on top of it. I was just going too fast. All right, we're going to add location. Put it in my search box. There we go. Looks like it's the same. So go with that. Add to map. And once your kids get going on this, they'll find lots more bells and whistles that they can play with to really customize this and make it their own. With this one, we had just the one image. But you can see why putting the time into preparing your information ahead of time will make this go way smoother, which is why I made that template for you. Gonna grab all the goals and activities and content, leadership, evaluation methods. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else that's unique that I need to show you about the other one, other than the fact that it also happened at O'Connell. So here's an example where, okay, there's another activity that we did at our school. I don't want to stick 10 pins on my map at my school. So how can I connect this to something broader in the community? Well, we could put a pin down at the local recycling center where our municipal waste goes. So that would make that section unique. All right, so let's say I have everything ready to go here. I'm ready to share this with folks, send it over to Need Youth Awards, share it with project sponsors, teachers, administrators. I'm going to click publish. And you need to set the visibility so that the folks that you intend to see it can. And so I'm going to click on publish. Oh, I got to put some topics in here. Environment and climate. These are just search terms. You don't have to go crazy with that, but you do have to put at least something in there. Publish. And here we go. So now we're ready to share it with a QR code or a link. I'm going to copy my link here and pop it into the chat so that you can test it and see if it works for you. There you go. And I'm going to click view published story just so everybody can see that. So here we go. You can see on the first screen, we could make some adjustments to this at any point in time if we want to. We have the button here if we want to share it further. If we want to do more edits, we click the 3 jelly beans here and go to edit story. But before we do that, let's kind of scroll down and see what we've got here. So we've got our first activity. And notice I'm scrolling down on the right-hand side, and it's scrolling through my content on the left until it gets to number 2. Once the text for number 2 pops into the view, then it changes the focus map and the image panel. And you keep going like this. So we could come back in here at any point in time, edit. We could have a banner image up at the top here. We can play with the design. But any changes that you make, in order for those changes to be visible to anybody that you've shared this with, then you have to click on publish again. Any questions on what we've gone over here?
Can I ask a question about like a feature of the story maps?
Yes.
So what I'm envisioning is I took pictures of people that I interviewed and then I recorded an audio of their responses to questions.
Yep.
What do you suggest I add in there to kind of combine those things? Or can I put like a listen to over top of an image? Is that possible?
So I think thank you for muting. Sorry, the train conductor was. I think my idea would be, so I use some software for my videos where you can combine images with audio tracks. I use a product called Camtasia. There's others out there, and it's just one that I'm comfortable with. And so what I would do in that situation so that I can utilize the one option that there is to embed media in one of these side panels, is I would combine my image file or files with my audio, save that as a video, upload it either to like a Google Drive or a something or YouTube, and then embed that link that way. That would be my approach. Great question. Awesome. Any other questions? All right. Well, I thank you for jumping on here tonight. I know it's been a long day for a lot of folks. I hope this is helpful to you. I will be sending out a survey to participants and other friends to gather information about what folks would like to learn about. I've got a lot of stuff I'd love to share about GIS to help give your students more tools to tell their stories and to engage your communities. So I look forward to getting some feedback from you and hope to see you in another one of these sessions soon.